Thanks for joining us for the Member xCite presentation. The Member xCite presentation is informative, interesting to the audience, and showcases the strengths of the presenter as an entrepreneur and their area of expertise. It's not a sales pitch, it's a 10-minute educational and insightful exploration into what they do. And of course, it's exciting.
So today's presentation, storytelling connects us by communicating our values and beliefs, then forming the basis for our inspirations and decisions. This resurging ancient art form is a strategic business tool to connect on a deeper level to expand our visibility and impact. Are you ready to dive into this powerful art to create history?
Okay, so we would love to speak to you today about how to become a soulful storyteller. So we just had a little bit of an introduction to the beautiful Leanne Clune. You've heard all about her being an international best-selling author, massive experience in her professional finance company. Her key program is Creative Energetic Millionaires. Doesn't that sound awesome? And you can see in the background there, that is actually Leanne's acreage in that photo. So that is the delightful Leanne Clune.
Thank you, Sashua. And I'm going to introduce Sashua. She is a transformation and energy coach. She's an incredible intuitive mentor, corporate and team facilitator, international #1 best-selling author and keynote speaker. She has 12 years experience in corporate HR, 16 years in intuitive coaching, and she lives with her husband and Maremma dog on acreage in Gippsland. So you can see we've got a lot in common and we're both on acreages. That's why we're always mowing.
That's right. That's one of the key things that we have in common, is that you will quite often find us on a tractor or a ride-on mower, and there's some proof in the photos there. And also we both love to co-create with the universe regularly and passionately, which is one of our synchronicities in the collaboration that we have together. So the question that we have to you to start off with is, do you consider yourself a storyteller? So we'd love it if you could just pop a yes or a no in the chat. We will be referring back to that question later on in the presentation. So do you consider yourself a storyteller? Let's see, have we got comments? Yes, yes, no, yes, at times. Yep, true. Okay, at times, no, yes. All right, so there's quite a range there. So let's see how it unfolds in the next 10 minutes. Ooh. Sorry about that. All right. Back to you, Leanne.
Okay, so I just wanted to do a little bit of an introduction on the power of storytelling. And what we're talking about is storytelling from our hearts. So it can be quite a vulnerable share. And, you know, storytelling is really in our DNA. It goes back to ancient times when we'd be around the fire and we were given information from our elders or the tribe leaders, and we're given information that was crucial to our survival. And the power of storytelling, when you tell a story from your heart, you captivate your audience. You make connections that are deep and you build trust and rapport very quickly. Sashua and I use the power of storytelling to increase the legacy, impact and visibility in business. And it's just an incredible marketing tool when done intuitively and strategically.
And we all know in marketing, we talk about know, like, and trust, and that's our way to connect with the audience. I think recent times have shown us that it's actually time to dig deeper than that. And storytelling is actually the way to do that in a much more authentic and deep connection way. And we're going to talk about that now.
So that's me on the left as a child. I reckon I was in grade 2 and we'd come up on a holiday to the Gold Coast from Victoria. My parents always wanted to come up to the Gold Coast and escape the cold of Geelong. And I was so blessed in my childhood to have a father who was an absolute natural storyteller. So I remember very fondly the memories of every afternoon, I would think about key points in my day, because every night at dinner, we'd sit at the table. I had a small family. It was only myself, my dad, my mum, and my brother. We'd sit at the dinner table, we'd eat dinner, and my dad would start storytelling. He had us in stitches. He was absolutely hilarious. He would pick a point from his day. So we got a lot of an insight into his work. And he'd pick something from his day that was highly emotive, and he would tell a story about it with a funny spin. So that would get us all going, because he'd be like, well, you know, what happened in your day? So he would very much activate us to tell our own stories. And this is how I grew up. It was just such an incredible connection to have with the family. It really made me feel safe as a child and heard, and it gave me such incredible listening skills. And the next picture on the right there is me with my family, my tribe. I've got 3 boys and a husband. And we incorporate storytelling with our children. So the legacy that my father started lives on.
And for me, my journey of storytelling started when I was very young. And for every celebration, I used to write, whoever's birthday it was, a poem. And so there are some examples of my my very creative poetry work back when I was anywhere from like 8 or 9 to sort of 12, 13, and just using creative expression to connect and share my love. It's like I wanted to put more into my expression than just, you know, dear mum, happy birthday, hope you have a beautiful day. You know, it's like I wanted to give more. And for me, that's a very big part of storytelling. It's like an act of giving. And you're giving either your wisdom, your compassion, your experiences, all the different elements of who you are go into true, deep storytelling. And that, of course, is what can connect us with others. And I'll share quickly that when I asked my mother to look through the archives and find these things for me a few weeks ago, she's now a very sprightly 84. And she had a wonderful trip down memory lane, looking through all these cards and poems and things that I'd written over so many years. And so these are just an example. So it brought back that whole feeling of being a recipient of someone who does their storytelling. So that was a great memory lane to go down.
Beautiful. So I'm fast forwarding now to when I was an adult and I'd been through uni, studied, and I actually started a financial services company. So I was a qualified mortgage broker and financial planner. I still run this company. I focus mainly on the mortgage broking. And it was interesting how I interacted with the clients, because as a financial planner, I saw a few that are on here at the moment, so you'll understand what I'm talking about. And if you've ever seen one, you'll understand. But we have to ask our clients so many questions. It's like the Spanish Inquisition, especially for a new client. And that's, you know, with know your client legislation and stuff like that. So I started to hold the space for my clients and allow their stories to come up. So I'd often get in trouble for spending too much time at the initial appointment with my clients, but it definitely paid off. I listened to them as we're going through and asking questions about their finances, their current finances. There's always a story that's attached to why they are where they are at the moment financially. And those stories had me captivated and fascinated. And I would often say to my PA and fellow colleagues, I really feel like I need to write a book, but obviously like I couldn't because of client confidentiality and etc. And I was focused on looking after my clients and not writing books at the time. But it was something that was so apparent to me that everyone, and particularly my entrepreneurial clients, they had the most incredible stories. So I felt very privileged and grateful to be able to listen and hold space for them to hear those stories. And yeah, it's just something that it's like a thread in my life, this whole storytelling. There was no other financial planner that would spend so much time with the clients initially. However, my client retention rate and then the rate that they would go on to purchase from me again or see me again in another capacity was way over 90%. I did not lose my clients. So it was that connection and trust and respect that was built through me listening and them engaging on such a deep, heartfelt level through the stories.
There's obviously lots of different ways to tell stories. It's not just verbally, it's not just in writing, but for me, part of my journey was actually storytelling through artwork. And earlier in my life, I was gifted a painting course and then studied professional art for 2 years. And then sold my work professionally and in galleries. So these are just a few that I happen to find photos of from way back then. But for me, the expression through art really told a story and was very heartfelt for me. For instance, the painting on the left, my sister had ripped a page out of a magazine and posted it to me and said, "Oh, I thought you might like to try painting this." And I just said at the time, "Thank you very much." And then over the coming months, I actually painted that painting without telling her and then gifted the painting back to her. So that was something that, you know, she felt that heartfelt expression for me, and then I gave it back to her, and it still hangs on her wall today. And the painting on the right is a memory from my childhood of actually having jazz musicians in our home throughout this beautiful party that we had when I was a kid, and really, you know, absorbing the atmosphere of that. So, you know, it's storytelling through music, it's storytelling through art. So it's like the journey that we're all on in finding out what kind of a storyteller we are going to be. How are we going to express our stories?
Amazing. So in 2020, at the end of 2020, I was given the opportunity to start my own publishing company. Now, this was a huge step outside of my comfort zone because I questioned, who am I to run a publishing company? However, my intuition was screaming at me to take this opportunity. I had to take it. I knew I had to take it. And it's interesting when I look back and join the dots that storytelling, writing, and getting things published has always been in my life. So it was a natural progression. I just couldn't see that at the time. Okay, I'll go over to you, Sashua, because I know we're running over time a little bit.
That's okay. So for me, I never imagined I would be an author in a book anytime soon. And last year, Leanne and I connected, and I instantly jumped into her previous multi-author book, Radiant, Visionary Women Igniting the Light in Others. So that was a big leap of faith for me. I jumped in head first, as I do with many things, very passionate if I'm going to be involved, and was very proud of the accomplishment of becoming a first-time author in that more, you know, way of actually writing in a book. And it was an incredibly powerful project, so much so that I approached Leanne, and we have now joined forces to do the coaching program for the next multi-author book together. So that's how passionate I was about the experience of storytelling. So we've got a couple of case stories to take you through very quickly in wrapping up.
Yeah, so I just wanted to touch on when I was running my finance business, I would talk about the clients to my PA that I'd just put on. And she said to me, you know, right, you need to write this down. And so we got it down pat. We'd write success stories about the clients and we'd put them out. They were published in a local newspaper and also on social media. Obviously, I took all the personal information away. It was completely confidential to who owned the story. However, it put the client stories out there. And what I found was I had different people would read it. Like say I'd have mum and dad might read it on social media and go, that's actually my daughter. That describes her situation. I think she needs to go and see you, Leanne. And they'd ring me up and they'd say, can my daughter come and see you? Because I'm really sure that she needs to come and see you to sort out this particular financial situation. So I just really found the power of using storytelling in business, rather than just saying I'm a finance expert and that was it, and I do blah 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 like what everyone else does. So it was just an incredible way.
And for me, my case study would be all the opportunities that I'm very grateful to have being a speaker and facilitator, whether it's at networking, women's events, or corporate, to be able to stand up in front of a group of people and share stories quite spontaneously. It's one of my absolute favorite things to do. It's a fabulous way to speak from the heart and express exactly what's in the air. And inevitably at every speaking event I do, I have several people come up and say to me, I feel like you were speaking right to me, right to my soul, right to my heart. You said exactly what I needed to hear today. So to me, that is not only a way for me to express stories and the fulfillment of sharing those, but also the messages that land for the recipients and the inspiration that sparks for them. So our question to you now in wrapping up is, do you believe you are a storyteller now? Please put in the chat, yes or no. Did it change for you? All those people who put no or sometimes. And also pop in the chat for us, what impact do you feel storytelling can make in your business? It might just be a one-word answer, growth, visibility, whatever it is for you. We would love to hear your feedback on that. And as those answers are coming in, if you are ready to tell your story to expand your business and create impact in the world, over to you, Leanne.
We have a solution for you. we have got a new book called Stories from Soulful Entrepreneurs, and we're currently taking expressions of interest. It is a very high vibration and high collaboration, very much a lot of coaching from myself and Sashua. It's not just about a book, it's really about using the book and getting it published on a global scale, using that as the vehicle to increase your visibility, your impact, and create a legacy for yourself. I know from my work over, the last 17 years and beyond, and from what my dad taught me as a young child, that we all have incredible stories within us. I know that entrepreneurs have always hurdled incredible challenges, and often we don't take the time as busy entrepreneurs to look back and go, oh wow, I did that. We take it for granted, particularly us high achievers. So your stories are gold. Your stories connect to your soul clients. This is an incredible way to market your unique business by putting out your unique expression in the world. No one does your business the same as you, no matter what their qualifications are. We are all unique.
So thank you very much, everyone, for your time. We hope you enjoyed our stories today. I know many of you have put book in the chat, which was amazing. And we look forward to connecting with you all. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks.
Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask Leanne or Sashua? Just dive in.
They're all busy practicing their
We're
story.
off the hook, Sashua.
I'll ask a quick question for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting what you do. I don't mean interesting flippantly. What sort of costs are involved if you are wanting to collaborate? What's the model look like? Is it a share cost? Is it, how does it all work?
We've got different programs, Steve, that you come into with different levels of support. So it depends where you're at with your business and what you want to achieve. We're happy to have a one-on-one chat with anyone to ascertain what they want to get out of it and what program might suit them.
So basically, to give you the overall feeling too, Steve, is that, you know, as Leanne said, we have multiple level packages depending on what level of support people need. If people just want to focus on their writing, the benefit is that we have a done for you publishing process. So that is all part of it. So that means you can just focus on the creativity of writing the story and feeling into how you can get that out to your audience. And for those who might be feeling a bit overwhelmed or not sure where to start with that process, then that's why we have different levels of packages to support people in that way. So it's much more than just, oh, here's a chapter, chuck it in your book for me, will you? It's a whole experience of business growth and visibility and having that deep connection with yourself and therefore connection with others.
Yeah. So it really is, the best thing to do is really just to have a one-on-one with either of you, both of you collectively.
That's it.
Absolutely.
And there is a link
Awesome.
in the chat in my my info, which can give people more information on the packages, their pricing and so forth. But great to chat about it one-to-one as always. We can share stories.